Have you or a loved one suffered the side effects of getting destroyed in a game of Uno? Have you been mentally or physically scarred by one too many draw fours? If so, you might be entitled to compensation, but you're definitely entitled to learning about my top 3 games that are better than Uno. Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to Might I Suggest a Game, a channel devoted to helping you find your perfect board game. Today we're talking about the classic card game Uno, and although we can all agree that this is a classic game, I think it's time you consider freshening up your collection with a few new titles. Now, I have fun playing a game of Uno from time to time, but if you played the game enough, you're bound to have experienced something like this.
Draw 4, draw 4 more, change the color to red, draw 2 more. Draw 2 more, draw 2 more, draw 2 more, reverse back to me, Uno, Uno out.
I hate you.
Now, if that doesn't make you want to flip a table, then you're a better person than I. So, on behalf of all the game tables out there that are begging to be spared from flipping, I'll be running through my Sommelier suggestions for the 3 games that I like better than Uno. Now, when I was making this list, I came up with a few criteria to work off of. Number 1, the game has to be a compact card game. Part of Uno's popularity is that it's a small game and fits into small spaces so that it's easy to stuff in your pocket or chuck in a suitcase for a road trip. Number 2, the game has to be easy to learn. Uno is a really simple concept, which means that you spend less time reading the rules and more time playing the game, which is probably why it gets to the table so much. And number 3, the game has to use the take that mechanic. Much of Uno's appeal comes from that classic take that mechanic where you can use your actions to directly affect another player, often in a negative way. Personally, I'm not a huge take that fan, but the 3 games on my list use it in a clever way so that it's a little bit more bearable. When I lay out those criteria, is there a game that pops into your head that should be on this list? If so, drop it below in the comments. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell button so you can get notifications when I post new videos. Anyways, let's get into it. Will one of these games be the perfect game for you? Let's find out, shall we? Fuji Flush is a quick card game from Stronghold Games for 3 to 8 players, where similarly to Uno, you'll be trying to get rid of all your cards before your opponents do. It's got an incredibly simple rule set, and it plays really well with high player counts. So it's great fun for the whole family that won't have you ready to pick a fight afterwards. In Fuji Flush, players will draw a hand from a deck of cards that goes from 2 to 20. There are lots of 2s in the deck, but there's only one 20, so make sure you pay attention to the distribution. The game itself is simple. On your turn, you'll take a card from your hand and place it in the field of play. If your card is higher than any of the cards in play, then the players with lower cards will have to flush them, meaning they'll discard them and draw a new card into their hand. If your card is equal to any of the cards in play, then their values will be added together, which can make smaller numbers more powerful and harder to beat. When you combine the amounts, make sure you check if the new value is higher than any of the cards in play. If so, those cards will get flushed too. Finally, if your card is lower than all of the other cards in play, then nothing happens. Your card will remain on the field for now, and play will continue on. If your card is lucky enough to remain in play all the way until your next turn, then it officially pushes through. You'll immediately discard it, but you will not replenish your hand from the deck, meaning you're one card closer to being out. Your goal is to push through all of your cards before your opponents do, and if you can do that, then you're the winner. Here's what I love about Fuji Flush. Fuji Flush definitely has a take that element where you can screw other players over by flushing them right before they push through, but the semi-cooperative mechanic of stacking the cards' values adds a little teamwork and makes the whole game feel more mellow. Teaming up with someone else to flush another player's big 20 is equally as satisfying as it is devious, and it feels like you're kind of hitting them with some sort of team draw 4 right after they said Uno. And if you're on the receiving end of these attacks, don't worry. Each round only takes about 15 or 20 minutes, so just screw them over next game. Anyways, if you're looking for a fast-paced card game for the whole family with enough take that to scratch your Uno itch, but not enough to cause a brawl to break out across the dinner table, then might I suggest Fuji Flush. Spicy is a bluffing card game from Heidelberg Games for 2 to 6 players, where again you'll be playing cards one by one, trying to get rid of all the cards in your hand. But this time, there's a twist. All the cards you play will be face down, which means that when it comes down to it, you don't exactly have to tell the truth about what you're gonna play.
I want the truth! You can't handle handle the truth.
In spicy, there are 3 suits of spicy food: black pepper, chili, and wasabi, that all include 3 sets of cards from 1 to 10. There are also a few wild cards in the deck, but we'll get to those in a bit. To start, the first player will take a card valued 1, 2, or 3 from their hand and place it face down to begin the spicy stack. When they do, they'll also call out the suit of that card, something like wasabi 2. From now on, all cards in the stack have to be of that same suit, in ascending order, and skipping numbers if necessary. This continues until someone plays a 10, in which case the numbers will reset back to 1, but the suit will stay the same. If you don't have a card in your hand that works, you can do one of 2 things. You can either draw a card from the deck and pass your turn, boring, or you can bluff. If no one calls your bluff and the next player plays a card, then you're good and you've got one less card to worry about. But if someone gets suspicious, they can challenge your card, and this is where things get spicy. Don't worry though, when a player calls you out, they have to select either the suit or the value of the card to challenge. That means if you were tricky and played a card with the right value but the wrong suit, or maybe you played a wild card that counts as any suit or any value, you'll still have a 50% chance of getting off scot-free. Once the player chooses, you'll flip over your card. If the challenge was correct, then you'll have to draw 2 new cards and they'll receive the whole spicy stack, which counts as points at the end of the game. But if you fooled them, then you'll take the stack and they'll draw the 2 cards. No matter what though, whoever loses the challenge begins the next spicy stack. You'll keep trying to shed cards from your hand, and if you ever get rid of all your cards, then you'll earn a 10-point bonus trophy and redraw your hand up to 6 cards. The game ends when all 3 trophies have been acquired, or the deck reaches the World's End card, which you'll put towards the bottom of the deck at the beginning of the game. Then players will count up all the cards they won in challenges and any trophies, and then subtract points based on any cards left in their hand. Whoever ends up with the most points wins. Here's what I love about Spicy. Spicy is rowdy, it's fast-paced, and honestly, it reminds me a lot of a game of Uno right before it gets out of hand. The take that mechanic is there. You can definitely target certain players with challenges and try to screw them over, but with the added element of having to pick either the suit or the value, you still have a little bit of insurance if you're the one getting picked on. Or, I guess you could tell the truth, but where's the fun in that? Anyways, if you're looking for a really simple and fun card game to play over and over again with friends that brings all the excitement of Uno but ends before someone flips a table, then might I suggest Spicy. Coup is a hit and roll card game from Indie Boards and Cards for 2 to 6 players, and while this doesn't have the straightforwardness of Uno, it makes up for it in its backstabbiness. Yeah, we're calling that a word. Coup relies heavily on the take that mechanic, so if your favorite part of Uno is betraying your closest friends, then you're gonna really like this one.
Wonderful.
In Coup, players will get 2 lives that manifest themselves as 2 face-down hidden roles in front of them. These hidden roles can be any one of the 5 different characters in this game, each with their own advantages and disadvantages. The character abilities can be a little confusing at first, but when in doubt, it'll always be described on your player aid for you to double and triple check. Now, when I said that this game relies on backstabbiness, I wasn't joking. Your goal is to eliminate all other players to be the last person standing, and you can do this in a few different ways. First, the most straightforward way to eliminate someone is to launch a coup, hence the name, but you'll need 7 coins to do so, and when people start seeing you accumulate some cash, you're gonna become a big target. The next way to reduce someone's lives is to challenge them on one of their hidden roles. If on their turn you think that one of your opponents is bluffing about one of their roles, you can call them out. If you're right, then they'll lose a life of their choice, but if you're wrong, then you'll lose one of yours. Remember, you've only got 2 to work with, so your lives are a precious commodity. The last way to off an opponent is by using the assassin card, which only requires 3 coins to kill a character. This one, however, has risks too, as it can be blocked by the Contessa card or can be challenged by the target, unlike a coup. On your turn, you can collect coins, launch a coup, or carry out your hidden role action while the rest of the players try to determine whether your existence is all a ruse. Through a sequence of bluffing, intrigue, and backstabbing, players will be eliminated one by one until only one is left standing, the winner. But at what cost? Here's what I love about Coup. Coup is a fun and chaotic game full of backstabbiness, but since everyone else is doing it too, you don't feel so bad. If you think you're a savage when you're playing a game of Uno, just wait till Coup makes it to the table. The thing that makes this game more palatable for non-take-that fans like me is that even though you're constantly under attack, it's really hard for just one person to bully you, since that would leave them vulnerable as well. After all, what's stopping you from just bullying them back? They do say the best defense is a good offense. Is that what they say? Anyways, if you're looking for a savage Uno replacement to break out with all your lawful evil friends who all want to screw each other over equally and without discrimination? Then might I suggest Coup. Thanks so much for sticking around for my sommelier suggestions. I hope you get a chance to try out some of these games, and if you do, let me know how you think they compare to Uno. Plus, if you have any other games that you'd add to this list, drop them below in the comments. Thanks so much for all the love and support so far. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can keep growing this channel and keep helping you find your perfect board game. Once again, this has been a Might I Suggest a Game production, and I'm Alex, your board game sommelier, signing off.